Ladies and gentlemen, life is short. It's a phrase we've all heard many times, and yet it's a truth we often forget in the rush of our daily lives. It's easy to become consumed by the demands of work, family, and the endless distractions that fill our days. But when we step back for a moment and truly consider the fleeting nature of our time on this earth, we begin to understand the weight of those three simple words. We live in a world that encourages us to chase after success, wealth, and pleasure. We are told that if we just have a little more money, more power, more recognition, then we will find happiness. But the truth is, no matter how much we accumulate in this life, it all fades away. All the material things we collect, all the accolades we receive, and all the pursuits we think will bring us fulfillment, none of it can give us the lasting peace and joy we long for. The clock is always ticking, and soon enough time will run out for us all. But there is hope. While our lives are short, they are not without purpose. The brevity of life should not be a reason to despair, but rather a reason to live with intention. Every day is an opportunity to make a difference, to love others, and to seek something greater than ourselves. We don't have to waste our time chasing after fleeting pleasures or striving for things that will ultimately leave us empty. Instead, we are called to invest our time in what truly matters, loving one another, serving others, and seeking the truth. If we live each day with this perspective, we will begin to see life not as something to be endured, but as something to be embraced. The challenges we face, the struggles we go through, and the hardships we encounter, all of these can become opportunities for growth and transformation. Life is short, yes, but it is also filled with moments of grace, beauty, and love that make it worth living. We must ask ourselves, how do we want to spend the short time we have on this earth? Will we spend our days chasing after things that do not last, or will we use our time to pursue what is eternal? Each of us has a limited number of days, and we cannot afford to waste even one of them. Life is too precious, and it passes too quickly to live without purpose. There is a story in the Bible that reminds us of the uncertainty of life. It speaks of a man who built great barns to store all his crops, thinking he had secured his future. But that very night, his life was required of him, and all that he had worked for was left behind. The point of the story is clear. We cannot take our wealth, our possessions, or our achievements with us when we leave this world. The things we think will bring us security are ultimately fleeting. The only thing that lasts is what we invest in eternity. When we understand the brevity of life, we are given a unique opportunity to live with urgency. We don't have the luxury of time to waste. The days are long, but the years are short. Life moves quickly, and before we know it, we will have reached the end of our journey here. And when that day comes, we will be faced with the question, what did we do with the time we were given? What we do with our time matters. How we choose to spend it shapes the person we become. If we spend our days focusing on ourselves, on our own needs and desires, we will miss the opportunity to live a life of significance. But if we turn our attention to others, to those in need, to the brokenhearted, and to the hurting, we will find that life becomes much more meaningful. In the grand scheme of things, life is but a vapor. It is here today and gone tomorrow. And yet, in the short time we have, we are given the chance to make a difference. Our lives can have an impact that reaches far beyond our time on earth if we choose to live for something greater than ourselves. There is a call on each of our lives to live with purpose. We are not here by accident. We have been placed on this earth for a reason, and that reason is to love and serve others, to seek the truth, and to make a lasting difference in the world around us. This is what gives life meaning, knowing that our time here is not in vain, that the things we do today will have an impact on eternity. So let us not waste the precious time we have. Let us live with urgency, with purpose, and with passion. Let us love deeply, forgive quickly, and serve humbly. Life is short, but it is also a gift. And what we do with that gift will determine the legacy we leave behind. There are many things that may pull us away from what is truly important, our jobs, our schedules, our ambitions, but let us remember that nothing is more important than living a life that matters. The fleeting nature of life should inspire us to seek what is eternal, to hold tightly to those things that will never fade. In the end, it is not the things we accumulate that will bring us joy, but the relationships we build, the love we give, and the lives we touch along the way. Life is short, but in that short time, we have the opportunity to live a life of purpose and significance. Let us not waste it. Let us make every moment count, and let us live for something greater than ourselves, knowing that our lives are not measured by the things we achieve, but by the love we give and the difference we make in the lives of others. And when our time here is done, we can rest knowing that we live with intention, that we live for something that will last. Life is fleeting and time is precious. Every moment matters. We often hear this truth, yet how often do we live as though we truly understand its weight? It's easy to become consumed by the busyness of life, distracted by our routines and the endless cycle of responsibilities that demand our attention. We wake up, go through our day, and fall asleep, repeating the same pattern over and over. Yet in the midst of this routine, time slips away, often unnoticed, until one day we look back and realize how much of it has passed. The days seem long, but the years are short. We take for granted the abundance of time ahead of us, assuming there will always be more moments to make choices, to make changes, or to make amends. We say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll spend more time with my loved ones next week, or I'll make that difference when I'm ready. But we never know when time will run out, and we cannot predict how many moments we will have left. The truth is that tomorrow is not guaranteed. As we go through life, we often fill our hours with things that don't matter as much as we think. We chase after goals that, in the grand scheme of things, may not provide the lasting fulfillment we seek. We strive for success in our careers, accumulating achievements, titles, and wealth. Yet at the end of the day, those things alone don't define the richness of our lives. They don't measure the love we've given, the connections we've made, or the kindness we've shared. And yet we allow the rush of life to take over, leaving us little time to reflect, to pause, and to truly appreciate the preciousness of each day. Time is not something we can store up or get back once it's gone. We cannot hoard it for later use. Once a moment passes, it is gone forever. So how we spend that time becomes the most important question we can ask ourselves. It's easy to live in a state of autopilot, moving from one task to the next without considering the impact of our choices. But when we stop and reflect on the fleeting nature of time, we realize how much we've missed in the rush of it, all the small moments that slip through the cracks, the conversations left unfinished, the relationships that were neglected, and the quiet moments of peace we failed to enjoy. Living with the awareness that time is limited gives us a new perspective on how we prioritize our lives. We start to ask ourselves what truly matters. What do we want to give our time to? Do we want to waste it on pursuits that won't last, or do we want to invest in things that have eternal value, things like love, kindness, service, and the pursuit of truth? When we view time as a precious gift, we begin to make more conscious decisions about how we use it. We might not always feel like we're in control of time, but we do have control over how we spend it. We choose whether we allow ourselves to be swept up in the endless distractions, or whether we intentionally carve out time for the things that matter most. We can choose to spend time with family and friends, to nurture relationships, to show kindness to strangers, and to make a difference in the lives of others. We can choose to slow down, to reflect on our purpose, and to align our daily actions with our values. Recognizing that life is short also invites us to appreciate the present. Often we are so focused on what lies ahead, whether that's the next milestone, the next goal, or the next phase of life, that we fail to appreciate where we are right now. The present moment, fleeting as it is, holds its own beauty. We are surrounded by opportunities to experience life to the fullest, to savor the small joys, to learn from our struggles, and to give thanks for what we have. By understanding that time is fleeting, we are freed from the illusion of an endless future. We realize that we have the power to make today count. Instead of procrastinating, waiting for the perfect time to take action, we begin to see that the time to make a change, to reach out to someone, or to do something meaningful is now. We don't need to wait for a special occasion or a grand moment. We have today, and today is enough. This understanding of time's fleeting nature invites us to live with greater intentionality. It challenges us to stop living as though there is always more time, to stop putting off the important things for a more convenient day. Instead, we are urged to take hold of today, to use each moment with purpose and to make the most of the limited time we have. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a dream, or simply taking a moment to reflect and be thankful, each moment we live has the potential to shape our lives in profound ways. We may not know how much time we have left, but we do know that how we choose to live today will determine the legacy we leave behind. When we grasp the brevity of life, we begin to live more fully, more mindfully, and with greater appreciation for the precious gift of time. Life is short, each moment matters. How we choose to spend those moments is what truly defines the life we lead. Material success and fleeting pleasures do not bring lasting fulfillment. We live in a world that constantly tells us that happiness can be bought, that the pursuit of wealth, power, and status will provide us with the ultimate sense of satisfaction. The messages are everywhere: advertisements, social media, and even the conversations we hear daily. We are conditioned to believe that if we just acquire more possessions, more achievements, more recognition, then we will find lasting contentment. But time and again we see that these pursuits often leave us feeling empty, unfulfilled, and searching for something deeper. There is a lie we are told that the next thing will bring happiness. Perhaps it's the new car, the bigger house, or the vacation we've been dreaming of. Maybe it's the next promotion or the increase in salary that we believe will finally give us the sense of success we crave. We invest our time, energy, and resources into chasing after these things, thinking that once we attain them, we will be satisfied. But soon after achieving one goal, we find ourselves setting our sights on another. The satisfaction is fleeting and the desire for more continues to grow. What was once a dream becomes just another rung on the ladder, never quite providing the lasting fulfillment we long for. The problem with material success is that it focuses on external factors, things that can be measured by status, wealth, or possessions. Yet none of these things can truly satisfy the deeper longings of the human heart. We are wired for connection, meaning, and purpose, things that can't be bought or attained through accumulation. When we place our hope and our identity in the material world, we are left with a constant sense of striving, always seeking the next thing to fill the void. But the void remains no matter how much we acquire. Fleeting pleasures, too, offer a momentary escape but leave us wanting more. We chase after experiences that bring temporary joy, whether it's a night out with friends, a new gadget, or a short-term thrill. These pleasures can make us feel good in the moment, but they do not last. When the rush fades, we are left to face the reality that nothing external can truly satisfy our deepest needs. We try to fill our emptiness with external sources, but they are insufficient to meet the profound desires for meaning and fulfillment that we carry within us. The pursuit of material things often leads to a cycle of dissatisfaction. Even when we achieve what we once thought would bring happiness, we find ourselves looking for the next thing. This cycle leaves us disillusioned and exhausted as we chase after things that ultimately do not provide the lasting peace we seek. No amount of wealth, recognition, or material success can give us the inner peace, joy, or contentment that comes from living a life of purpose and meaning. True fulfillment does not come from what we own or achieve, but from who we are and the relationships we cultivate. It comes from living in alignment with our values, seeking truth, and investing in the things that truly matter. Love, kindness, compassion, and service to others provide a deeper sense of satisfaction than material possessions simply cannot. When we focus on these eternal qualities, we begin to understand what it means to live a truly rich life, not in terms of what we own, but in the impact we have on others and the peace we find within ourselves. In a world that values success and accumulation, it can be difficult to remember that the things we pursue are often empty when held up against the deeper needs of the soul. We are not here to collect things to measure our worth by what we own or achieve, but to live lives that reflect something far greater than temporary pleasures or material success. True fulfillment comes not from external sources, but from an inner transformation that aligns our lives with love, meaning, and purpose. When we stop chasing the empty promises of material success and fleeting pleasures, we open ourselves to the possibility of living a life of deeper fulfillment. Instead of measuring our worth by what we have, we begin to measure it by the love we give, the relationships we nurture, and the difference we make in the lives of others. In doing so, we find that the fulfillment we have longed for is not found in the things we acquire, but in the love we share and the purpose we live. Purpose in life is found through love, service, and seeking truth. In a world that is often consumed with self-interest, competition, and individual achievement, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly gives life meaning. We are taught from a young age that success is measured by how much we acquire, how high we climb in our careers, and how many accolades we receive. But as we grow older and face the complexities of life, many of us begin to realize that these external measures of success often leave us feeling hollow, empty, and searching for something deeper. The truth is, lasting fulfillment is not found in our achievements, possessions, or titles, but in how we love, how we serve, and how we pursue truth. Love is the cornerstone of a meaningful life. It is through love that we experience the deepest connections with others and the world around us. It is love that transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. Love compels us to look beyond ourselves and to care for those around us, whether it's our family, friends, or even strangers in need. The beauty of love is that it doesn't just bring joy to the recipient, it also enriches our own hearts. When we give of ourselves in love, we experience a sense of fulfillment that no amount of success or material wealth can provide. True love is not about what we can get, but what we are willing to give. It is selfless, sacrificial, and unconditional. And it is in this kind of love that we find the deepest sense of purpose. Service is another key to a life of purpose. In a world where everyone seems to be looking out for their own interests, it can be difficult to understand the value of putting others first. Yet when we choose to serve others, whether through acts of kindness, generosity, or simply being there for someone in their time of need, we discover something profound about ourselves. Service shifts our focus away from our own desires and places it on the well-being of others. It reminds us that we are all connected, that our lives are intertwined, and that the true measure of a life well lived is not how much we accumulate, but how much we give. Service has the power to transform not only the lives of those we help, but also our own hearts. It teaches us humility, compassion, and gratitude, and aligns us with a purpose far greater than our own self-interest. Seeking truth is perhaps the most fundamental aspect of finding purpose in life. In a world full of distractions and voices that tell us what to believe, it can be easy to lose sight of what is real and eternal. But deep within each of us is a longing for truth, a desire to understand the meaning of life, to know our place in the world, and to seek answers to the big questions of existence. This search for truth is not just intellectual or philosophical, it is spiritual and deeply personal. The truth we seek is not found in the ever-changing opinions of society or in the fleeting trends of culture, but in the eternal truths that guide our lives. These truths are rooted in love, justice, and compassion, and they point us toward a higher purpose. When we seek truth, when we align our lives with what is real and good, we begin to live with a sense of direction and clarity that brings peace to our hearts and fulfillment to our souls. The pursuit of love, service, and truth is not always easy. It requires sacrifice, courage, and a willingness to put others before ourselves. But it is through these acts of selflessness and commitment to a higher purpose that we find meaning in the midst of life's challenges. In a world that constantly pushes us to focus on our own success and pleasure, it can be hard to stay true to these values. Yet, it is in the moments when we choose love over indifference, service over selfishness, and truth over convenience that we experience the greatest sense of purpose and fulfillment. When we center our lives around these principles, we shift our focus from the temporary and fleeting to the eternal and lasting. We begin to understand that our worth is not measured by what we accumulate, but by how we impact the lives of others and how we live in alignment with our deepest values. Purpose is not something we find in external accomplishments or possessions. It is something that arises from within when we choose to love, serve, and seek truth with all our hearts. This is the life of true fulfillment, a life that goes beyond the surface and reaches deep into the heart of what it means to be human. We cannot take our possessions with us, only eternal investments matter. In a world that values material wealth and the accumulation of possessions, it is easy to forget that nothing we own truly defines us, nor can it accompany us when our time on this earth comes to an end. From the moment we are born, we are introduced to a society that places immense importance on what we possess, whether it's the house we live in, the car we drive, the clothes we wear, or the wealth we accumulate. We are encouraged to measure our success by the things we own and the material goods we can acquire. However, the reality is that despite all our efforts to accumulate wealth and possessions, these things are temporary and ultimately meaningless in the grand scope of life. They do not accompany us beyond this world, and they certainly cannot provide us with lasting happiness or fulfillment. Our possessions are fleeting, much like the seasons that come and go. The things we own can be taken from us in an instant, whether through a natural disaster, a financial setback, or the inevitable passage of time. No matter how hard we work to acquire them, they are not ours to keep forever. This truth can be difficult to accept, especially in a society that equates success with material wealth. We often find ourselves investing time, energy, and resources into acquiring things that, in the end, have little lasting value. As we pursue these things, we may convince ourselves that they will bring us security, happiness, or a sense of fulfillment. Yet, when we look deeper, we realize that what we truly long for cannot be purchased or possessed. True fulfillment comes not from what we own, but from what we give, what we invest in the lives of others in love, kindness, and service. The relationships we build, the lives we touch, and the good we do for others are the things that hold eternal value. These are the investments that transcend this life and endure into eternity. The moments we share with our loved ones, the compassion we show to those in need, and the legacy we leave behind in the hearts of others are the things that truly define the richness of our lives. These intangible things, love, kindness, integrity, and faith, are the investments that will not fade away but continue to bear fruit long after we are gone. We often hear the saying, "You can't take it with you," and yet we live as though we can. We spend our lives accumulating possessions, climbing the ladder of success, and chasing after things that in the end are only temporary. When we focus solely on the material aspects of life, we risk neglecting the deeper, more meaningful pursuits that offer true fulfillment. We risk neglecting our relationships, our spiritual growth, and the things that truly bring joy and peace to our hearts. We may accumulate a great deal in terms of wealth or status, but if we have not invested in the things that matter most, we will find that our lives are empty and our achievements hollow. When we recognize that material possessions are temporary and cannot accompany us beyond this life, we begin to understand the importance of investing in what is eternal. We begin to prioritize the things that have lasting value, things that cannot be measured by dollars or titles. We focus on nurturing relationships, living with integrity, and giving generously to those in need. We invest in our spiritual lives in the pursuit of wisdom and truth, and in the practice of love and kindness. These are the investments that, although invisible to the world, are the most valuable. In the end, when we stand before God, we will not be asked about the size of our bank accounts or the possessions we accumulated during our time on earth. Instead, we will be asked how we lived our lives, how we treated others, how we loved, how we served, and how we honored the gifts we were given. The wealth we accumulate here may provide temporary comfort, but it is the treasures we store up in heaven, the acts of kindness, the love we shared, the people we helped, that will truly matter. When we shift our focus from acquiring material possessions to investing in eternal treasures, we begin to live with a greater sense of purpose and meaning. We recognize that the true wealth of life is not found in what we own, but in the love we give, the service we offer, and the positive impact we make in the lives of others. In this way, we begin to invest in what truly matters, the things that will endure long after we are gone. The urgency of life's brevity calls us to live with intention and purpose. Too often we go through life as if we have all the time in the world, assuming that tomorrow will always be there, that there will always be another chance to do what matters. But the reality is, time is limited, and none of us know how many days we have left. The precious moments we allow to slip by can never be reclaimed, and as we grow older, we begin to understand that life moves faster than we ever imagined. The truth is, life is short, and if we are not intentional with how we live, we risk allowing the best parts of it to pass us by unnoticed. When we grasp the reality of our own mortality, when we understand that life is fleeting, it should change how we live every single day. This recognition creates a sense of urgency, a realization that we cannot afford to waste time on things that do not matter. We are called to live with intention, to make each moment count, to focus on the things that bring true fulfillment, and to invest our energy in what truly matters. Too many of us spend our time chasing after distractions, worrying about things that don't have lasting significance. We get caught up in the rat race, constantly striving for more success, more recognition, more possessions, and often we forget to take a step back and ask ourselves, what am I doing with my life? Living with intention means being deliberate in our choices and actions. It means being mindful of how we spend our time, understanding that each moment is an opportunity to live out our values and pursue what is truly important. It requires that we resist the temptation to live on autopilot, simply going through the motions of life without considering how we are using our time. Living intentionally requires effort and discipline, but the rewards are immeasurable. When we choose to live with purpose, we align ourselves with the things that matter most: love, service, personal growth, and the pursuit of meaning. We choose to make an impact, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. Purpose is the guiding light that directs our actions, helps us stay focused, and gives us something to live for beyond the distractions and the noise of daily life. Without purpose, life becomes a series of disconnected events, just another day to get through. But when we live with purpose, we begin to see that each moment is a chance to move toward something greater, something eternal. We find meaning in the smallest of actions, in the relationships we nurture, and in the way we use our time. Purpose adds depth to our lives and helps us discern what is worth investing in. It allows us to say no to the trivial and yes to the important. When we recognize the urgency of life's brevity, we understand that our time here is precious and should not be taken for granted. The moments we have are fleeting, and it is far too easy to put off what really matters for another day. How many times have we told ourselves, I'll call that friend tomorrow, or I'll spend time with my family next weekend, only to find that time slipped away and those moments never came? The truth is, there is no guarantee of tomorrow. We are not promised another day to do the things we've been meaning to do or to love the people we've been meaning to love. This realization calls us to be present, to live in the here and now, to make the most of the time we have. Living with urgency does not mean rushing through life or being constantly frantic. It means living with awareness and intentionality, being fully present in each moment, and making the choices that align with our deepest values. It means taking the time to nurture relationships, to serve others, to pursue what truly matters, and to reflect on what kind of legacy we want to leave behind. It means asking ourselves the hard questions: am I spending my time in ways that will matter in the long run? Am I living in a way that reflects the person I want to be? These questions should challenge us to live differently, to be more deliberate in our choices, more focused on what truly brings joy, peace, and fulfillment. Understanding that life is short should inspire us to live more fully, to embrace each day as a gift, and to prioritize the things that truly matter. It calls us to live not for ourselves but for others, to invest in relationships, to serve those around us, and to seek truth and meaning in all that we do. Time is the one thing we cannot buy or control, and once it is gone, it's gone forever. Therefore, we must live with urgency, making every moment count, living with intention and purpose, knowing that the way we choose to spend our time today shapes the lives we lead tomorrow. The urgency of life's brevity calls us to live with intention and purpose. Too often, we go through life as if we have all the time in the world, assuming that tomorrow will always be there, that there will always be another chance to do what matters. But the reality is, time is limited, and none of us know how many days we have left. The precious moments we allow to slip by can never be reclaimed, And as we grow older, we begin to understand that life moves faster than we ever imagined. The truth is, life is short, and if we are not intentional with how we live, we risk allowing the best parts of it to pass us by unnoticed. When we grasp the reality of our own mortality, when we understand that life is fleeting, it should change how we live every single day. This recognition creates a sense of urgency, a realization that we cannot afford to waste time on things that do not matter. We are called to live with intention, to make each moment count, to focus on the things that bring true fulfillment, and to invest our energy in what truly matters. Too many of us spend our time chasing after distractions, worrying about things that don't have lasting significance. We get caught up in the rat race, constantly striving for more success, more recognition, more possessions. And often we forget to take a step back and ask ourselves, what am I doing with my life? Living with intention means being deliberate in our choices and actions. It means being mindful of how we spend our time, understanding that each moment is an opportunity to live out our values and pursue what is truly important. It requires that we resist the temptation to live on autopilot, simply going through the motions of life without considering how we are using our time. Living intentionally requires effort and discipline, but the rewards are immeasurable. When we choose to live with purpose, we align ourselves with the things that matter most: love, service, personal growth, and the pursuit of meaning. We choose to make an impact, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. Purpose is the guiding light that directs our actions, helps us stay focused, and gives us something to live for beyond the distractions and the noise of daily life. Without purpose, life becomes a series of disconnected events, just another day to get through. But when we live with purpose, we begin to see that each moment is a chance to move towards something greater, something eternal. We find meaning in the smallest of actions, in the relationships we nurture, in the way we use our time. Purpose adds depth to our lives and helps us discern what is worth investing in. It allows us to say no to the trivial and yes to the important. When we recognize the urgency of life's brevity, we understand that our time here is precious and should not be taken for granted. The moments we have are fleeting, and it is far too easy to put off what really matters for another day. How many times have we told ourselves, I'll call that friend tomorrow, or I'll spend time with my family next weekend, only to find that time slipped away and those moments never came? The truth is, there is no guarantee of tomorrow. We are not promised another day to do the things we've been meaning to do or to love the people we've been meaning to love. This realization calls us to be present, to live in the here and now, to make the most of the time we have. Living with urgency does not mean rushing through life or being constantly frantic. It means living with awareness and intentionality, being fully present in each moment and making the choices that align with our deepest values. It means taking the time to nurture relationships, to serve others, to pursue what truly matters, and to reflect on what kind of legacy we want to leave behind. It means asking ourselves the hard questions. Am I spending my time in ways that will matter in the long run? Am I living in a way that reflects the person I want to be? These questions should challenge us to live differently, to be more deliberate in our choices, more focused on what truly brings joy, peace, and fulfillment. Understanding that life is short should inspire us to live more fully, to embrace each day as a gift, and to prioritize the things that truly matter. It calls us to live not for ourselves, but for others, to invest in relationships, to serve those around us, and to seek truth and meaning in all that we do. Time is the one thing we cannot buy or control, and once it is gone, it's gone forever. Therefore, we must live with urgency, making every moment count, living with intention and purpose, knowing that the way we choose to spend our time today shapes the lives we lead tomorrow. As we reflect on the brevity of life, it becomes clear that time is our most precious resource. Once it passes, we cannot reclaim it. This understanding should shift the way we approach every moment, every decision, and every relationship. We are not here to simply accumulate material wealth or chase fleeting pleasures that fail to provide lasting contentment. Instead, we are called to live lives that are rich in meaning, rooted in love, service, and the pursuit of truth. When we live with this awareness, we begin to see that true fulfillment comes not from what we have, but from what we give. Not from what we accumulate, but from how we choose to spend our time. Life is short. This simple truth should move us to live with intention, to prioritize what matters most and things that have eternal value. We cannot take our possessions with us, and the fleeting pleasures of this world do not provide lasting satisfaction. Yet the love we share, the kindness we offer, and the positive impact we make on others leave an indelible mark that endures far beyond our time here. As we recognize the urgency of life's brevity, we are reminded to live not for tomorrow, but for today, making the most of every opportunity to love deeply, to serve selflessly, and to pursue what is true and good. When we live with purpose, we begin to see that every moment counts. We understand that each day is an opportunity to build relationships, to grow in character, and to contribute to a world in need. The legacy we leave behind is not found in the material things we acquire or the accomplishments we achieve, but in the way we loved, served, and lived with integrity. Our time on this earth is limited, and it is through the choices we make, the values we hold, and the love we share that we create a life that truly matters. So let us embrace the reality that life is short. Let us stop waiting for the perfect time to make a change or take action. Today is the day we have. Today is all we can truly control. Let us choose to live intentionally, focusing on what truly brings fulfillment, the love we give, the service we offer, and the pursuit of truth. Let us be present in the moments that matter, knowing that every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, and every step toward our purpose is an investment in something far greater than ourselves. As we live each day with urgency, we will find that it is not the quantity of our time that defines us, but the quality of how we spend it. By living in alignment with our deepest values and prioritizing what lasts beyond this world, we ensure that our lives are filled with meaning, impact, and fulfillment. Life is short, and it is in the way we choose to live that we make it truly extraordinary. 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 Extraordinary.